Welcome to our community. Susie Thomas with you this morning. We are welcoming Jackie Godby from the Humane Society and friends who, first of all, if people hear a little whimpering in the background, who are our friends?
We have Raphael and Donatello. They're about 12-week-old Beagle mixed puppies that should be ready for adoption between March 15th and March 17th, depending on their surgery dates.
And with Donatello and Raphael, does that mean that there were two other Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Yeah, there was other ninjas with these guys. They were just significantly smaller compared to these two guys. So they're currently in our Foster the Fuzzy program, but we'll be ready hopefully about the same time as these two.
Okay, well, let's talk about Foster the Fuzzy. What program is that?
We utilize that program. It's where people can come in and they can foster unweaned animals, pregnant mothers, mothers with litters, sometimes are sick and injured, because a home environment is always better than a shelter environment for these animals to grow or recover from an injury.
It's got to be a little tricky, though, for some of those instances to be a foster pet owner. How do people get the supplies they need and so forth to take care of an unweaned animal, for example?
We have foster kits that we send out. We had a nice family that donated 10 to 12 of them over the holidays.
Nice.
The shelter does anything from puppy pads to formulas to bottles to medicines. Whatever needed to help get that animal ready for adoption is what we try to supply the family with. We do ask that about every 1 to 2 weeks they come in for a recheck with our vet med team to make sure everything is going well. And then from there we can schedule their surgeries for spaying and neutering.
Now, it just seems really unlikely that after somebody has had a pet in their home for that long, that they don't keep them. I mean, right? I mean,
Right,
this is more of a foster to adopt program, isn't it?
That does happen. I call some of them our foster failures, and it's not because there was anything wrong with the animal, but they fostered and fell in love. So by that time, they're usually done fostering. But we do have some wonderful foster moms, and that's all that they do. One lady in particular, Patricia Lawson, she's on about 125 fosters.
Really?
She loves what she does. She wants to take them home, bottle feed them, get them healthy, get them happy, get them into the shelter, spay neutered, and place them up for adoption. And she just loves that. And she has different ones all the time. So there are some people that just absolutely love having them for that short time, take a little bit of time off, and come back around for another round.
Puppies are adorable, but they are so much work, and they are not housebroken.
That
so
is correct.
this means she constantly has an unhousebroken pet in her home.
Right. And puppy pads, or if they're kittens, they use the litter box. So you do go through a lot of puppy pads, especially with the unweaned or the smaller puppies, because they go potty.
I believe there must be a special crown in heaven for Pat Lawson. That's my
I agree.
guess.
Yes.
That's pretty amazing. So if somebody is listening saying, oh, I would love to do that, do you take more volunteers?
Yeah, we just ask that you stop out. We have a Foster the Fuzzy application. We do require photo ID to go along with that. And on there, give us an idea what you're looking to foster.
Okay.
That way we're not calling you for kittens that need fed every 2 hours. If you're looking to foster an animal that just needs medical recovery and a place besides a shelter to heal from a wound.
That brings up a really good point. You're matching the pet to the person.
Yes.
So it makes a good match. But also, it brings up the point, what about background checks on these people? I don't think you would just let anyone take care of these
we do,
animals.
and that's why they have to fill out the application, and we can do home visits before. So it just depends on some of the people. A lot of our volunteers that are in the shelter 2 or 3 times a week are our fosters, and a lot of our staff will foster in between their shifts at the shelter.
I've heard people say it is more likely that you'll get a healthier, happier animal and one that fits in with the family more readily than when you go to a pet store. What do you have to say about that? That adopting or rescuing somebody from the Humane Society is a better way to go for a lot of reasons. Better for the pet, better for the family.
I agree, because when you come in, we ask that you bring the whole family. That means anyone that's living in the household, we ask if you have other animals that you bring them with you. And we're going to try to match you up with a pet that works with your family, your time schedule. You know, if you're a younger, busier family, soccer practice, baseball practice, we're not going to really recommend that you take a puppy home that needs housebroken and everything. We're going to recommend a little bit older, one that may already be housebroke, already through the chewing stage. So we try to match the animals to the right family as well. It's not always 100%, but we do try.
What's a good age to bring a puppy into the family and introduce them to kids?
It depends on the age of the kids, and a lot depends on the children themselves. Some kids, like my kids, grew up with animals their whole life. We always had a variety, and so they would be okay with anybody. But if you have some kids that may be more fear-based of the animal or aren't used to letting an animal go in and out and cleaning up after, you may want to get a little bit older dog or cat that's already housebroke, that's already litter trained. The ones I call ready-made. They've already been through the puppy kitty stage. They're not chewing on the shoes or the toys, because if your kids leave the toys out,
Right.
they're going to get chewed up. And unfortunately, with some dogs, they actually ingest that, and then you're looking at a very difficult surgery to get that out of the intestine.
Yes.
So you definitely want to make sure that you and your family pick that pet together based on your comfortability level.
Every kid goes crazy, yay, hooray, when a puppy comes home.
That is right.
But they don't always take the responsibility. What should you expect? What should a child, what's reasonable to ask a child to take care of as far as taking care of the pet?
Depending on the age of the child, one thing is definitely always pick up your socks, your shoes, your toys, anything like that, because they're curious. They want to see. They don't know the difference between a play shoe and a chewed shoe. So depending on the age, they have to learn to let them in and out, because mom and dad get very frustrated when all the cleanup and all the feeding is on them. And when they just bought that new toy or that new book bag and the puppy chews it, or the kitten has an accident on it. So you just want to depend on the responsibility level of your kids.
You know your own child. So,
Yeah.
but if a child is not ready to feed the dog and take the dog out and all of that, then maybe that's not the time to introduce a pet yet. Wait until they can take some of the responsibility off of mom and dad.
Right. Because mom and dad have a lot going on. They're already taking care of the kids. They're working. They're going to all the practices and after-school programs. So definitely get a pet that fits in with your time and your family activity level. They may want to look at a dog that's older. It only needs to go out a few times a day and only needs 1 or 2 feedings, versus a puppy or a kitten that's a lot more responsibility to get through the chewing, get through the potty training. So we do have older dogs that are looking for homes, older cats that are already litter trained, housebroke, and
they need a home as well.
yes,
and they're
do.
easier.
Yes, they're already fixed. You're already through all of that. So definitely, if you're a young, busy, active family, always consider adopting a little bit older of a puppy or a kitten. You know, teenagers, they're teenagers too. So,
Yeah, that's right.
You know, they need homes.
This might be getting a little out from under your wheelhouse, but Easter's coming up. And so a lot of times people think, oh, this would be an adorable time to bring home a bunny rabbit for a pet or something like that, or even a puppy. And then I've heard a school of thought that says, no, a holiday is not when you want to do that. So what's your school of thought? What do you think?
I never recommend a gift that's a surprise. If you are going to do the puppy or the bunny rabbit or something, you want to make sure it's okay with mom and dad before you just say, oh, here, I got you this for Easter, because it's not going to last. It's not going to work out, because one, they didn't want it, or they would have already went out and got it themselves. So if you're going to do it and it's going to be a gift, please make sure that it's not a surprise. And, you know, there's 364 other days in the year. So, you know, if you want to do a nice nice gift for that, you can. But a holiday is usually not the best time, because it is so busy.
Yes.
You know, you have Easter baskets out, you have chocolate out, you have the Easter grass, which is all hazardous to our puppies and kitties and our dogs. So that may not be the best time. And they have to remember, all puppies, kitties, and bunnies grow up to be adults too.
Yeah, that is true. Must tell you a quick story. My father was a teacher, and one of his classes thought it would be fun to give him a puppy as a class gift. Brought it home. It was cute. It was a Weimaraner, so that's almost like a pony.
Yes.
Once it's full grown.
Very active pony.
Yeah, that was. He had a home outside that he actually used to drag around with him behind him. So
Yes. Yes.
take the house with him and go on his little walks. Yeah, a true story. need to know, what other programs do I not know about? I'm hearing about Foster the Fuzzy for the first time. What else do you have going on over there?
Our spring summer project is going to be about a 1-mile walking path. If you volunteered at the shelter, walking in our field, you can do it, but can be difficult. We've now started a running dog program where joggers or local runners from Stark Parks can come out and jog with our animals. So we're going to put about a 1-mile track around the shelter, and we're going to have little areas that we call a patio for
Say that again.
people to sit down and spend some one-on-one time, whether they're looking to adopt or just looking to share some love with an adoptable pet. And we will have bricks in those areas, so if anyone's interested in having an honor brick or a memorial brick, just give us a call at the shelter. So a lot of new great things going on out there.
That's so cool. I'm guessing maybe even the bricks might be in honor of a former pet, not necessarily of a person. Yeah, you can make the brick in front of in honor of Fido. Yes.
Yes, you can. Yes, animals, people, anything like that, and you can even use your family's last name if you're a huge animal lover or supporter.
Yes.
And you want to participate in this. We're not going to say no. We have anywhere from $59.95 to $79.95 for the engraved bricks.
What's the difference between $59.95 and $79.95?
The difference will be the characters. The more on the brick, the more expensive it would be. Mm-hmm. If you just wanted your name, like if I wanted Jackie's Pets, I'm looking at $59.95. If I wanted my name, my children's names, my pets' names, and maybe a little symbol, I'm looking at $79.95.
How do we purchase these, Jackie?
Right now, you can stop in the shelter, and we're hoping to have it available for online ordering at the 1st of April.
Okay, so coming right up. Okay, and will we be seeing some dust moving this spring? Or
I'm hoping as soon as this weather breaks.
Yes. What is the timeline you're thinking to have the walking path completed?
We are hoping by the summer, but it just depends on Ohio weather, because you can't mark the track out there when the grass is wet. So we're waiting on some dry weather to get going on this and the renovation to go for this project. But we have the rendering ready. It's hanging up in the lobby of the shelter if anyone wants to stop out and see what we're talking about. We're going to have one smaller version of the track for, maybe our senior dogs or our senior volunteers, and then we'll have the longer track. So we're going to have 2, and we're hoping to have about 3 patio areas for people to be able to stop and spend some one-on-one time or just enjoy the day.
I love that so much. All right, one of the things that you mentioned very quickly, when the gal who sees a little puppy up through the point that they're having their surgery, they're spay or neutering. How important is the spaying and neutering?
It is very important. Just in the time that I've been at the shelter, the 24 years, I've already seen less animals coming through, which is a good thing. We still significantly take over 4,500 a year. So it's so important because there's just so many unwanted pets, not only in our community, but across our country. And spaying and neutering at an early age is going to be vital to our future.
So when you say 4,500 animals a year, that's in our area or around the country?
No, that's just our shelter.
You're kidding.
No, that's just from our shelter. But when I originally started 24 years ago, we were almost at 8,000 animals a year.
So it's getting better.
Yes, it is. We are definitely doing more as a community, and the spaying and neutering is just a vital part. In every group and every rescue needs to, make sure that they're fixed before they're going home.
Are they coming to you as families saying, we are moving, or we have a new baby, or for whatever reason we can't care for our puppy anymore, or are you finding them abandoned?
We have both. We really do. We have both. We have some people that will call the shelter and say, my kids brought this puppy home. We don't want it. Our landlord won't let us have it. And we make the arrangements to take it in. And then we have those that are just left out and either a Good Samaritan or, they're left at our shelter. And so we'll take them, and they all have their first shots, deworm, bordetella, microchipped. And then once they're old enough, because they have to be 8 weeks and over 2 pounds to be spayed or neutered. So sometimes that's why our foster program is so important, is because it takes us a little longer sometimes to get them up to that weight and to that age.
When a person is thinking about getting a pet and bringing a pet home, you're saying a lot of things here that I don't think maybe you think the cuteness, you don't think the shots and everything. what all goes into purchasing a pet and taking care of a pet when you bring one home all brand new and cute?
Well, it depends where you get it from. That's why I always say it's better to adopt than shop, because our puppies in most shelters all have had 1 to 2 other boosters.
Awesome.
They've been dewormed. They've had Bordetella. They've been microchipped. They've been spayed and neutered. Our older pets have been heartworm tested and feline leukemia and AIDS tested, to where if you're just going down the road to a local pet store or someone off of Craigslist, you don't know the medical history. And with this, you're getting a whole medical summary to take to your vet, which is going to help you and your veterinarian to make sure that the pet is happy and healthy.
I hate this term, but I have to ask you if they're real, if it really exists, because this is my fear about going to a pet store. Are puppy mills real?
Yes, they are
Really?
real. Yes, they are. Yes.
And do you have the danger of perhaps encouraging that by purchasing a pet that's been just made through a puppy mill?
Yeah, there are puppy mills. There are puppy mills in Stark County.
No.
You just have to remember that as long as people are going there and they're buying and paying those prices, that's going to stay. You know, if people stop shopping at a store or a retailer, eventually they're going to say, oh, well, we're not making any money, we're going to have to close. But as long as people are purchasing animals from pet stores and stuff, and I don't know what else we could do with them, but the more people that spend that $500 on a puppy, the more those people are making, the more they're going to breed.
Okay. So, yes, and it's better for the puppy to get rescued, right?
Yes.
Although you are a life-affirming place for pets, yes?
Yes.
Yes. Nobody is euthanized there, yes?
Only if they're sick or injured, and it's a
Okay.
veterinarian. We do pick up sick and injured animals, so if an animal has been hit or is suffering, our veterinarian can order that down. But just for a time limit or for space,
That's
something
what I
like
meant.
that, yeah, they can't be euthanized. But we do have a van on call 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Say you're driving down the road and you accidentally hit a dog or cat. That does happen, and you don't know what to do. You call us and we send someone out to pick it up, and we have our vet assess it. And, you know, we try to save as many as possible, but we can never save them all.
All right, all good information. We're speaking with Jackie Godby from the Humane Society. You need to take a short break. We'll be back after these few words. You're listening to Our Community.